Let's be real, giving feedback is one of the hardest parts of being a leader. I used to dodge it. I tell myself they probably already know, and now it's not the right time. But here's the truth. I had to learn the hard way. Silence isn't kindness. It's confusion, it's frustration, and over time it erodes trust. As leaders, our job isn't to keep things comfortable. It's to help our people grow. So if you've ever tried to avoid a hard conversation, hesitate to give feedback, or struggle to make it land without crushing morale, well, this is a video for you. Today, I'm breaking down why feedback is not optional, what tools I have used to give feedback that's clear, kind, and actually helped me through the journey to become a better leader. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Teresa and I'm a product leader based in Melbourne, Australia. And on this channel, we unpack actionable strategies and practical tools to continuously grow in our career. So let's start with a mindset shift. Feedback is not optional. If you lead people, whether you're a team lead, a manager, or a senior product leader, performance management is your job. It's not a nice to have. It's not something that you do once a quarter during reviews. It's your responsibility to help people grow, improve, and succeed. And the only way you can do that is by giving them honest, helpful, and timely feedback. Let me give you an example. There was a team member I used to work a few years ago who struggled with prioritization. Task slip, communication was not clear. I avoid saying anything because, I didn't want to come off as micromanaging. Fast forward 3 months later, the project suffered. The team was frustrated, and worst of all, this person was blindsided when we finally had that conversation. They said, "Why didn't you tell me? I wouldn't been able to fix it way earlier and I just didn't know." That's when it hit me. The cost of unclear leadership is confusion, resentment, and loss of trust. Next is frequency versus friction. Now, once I realized the importance of feedback, I completely overcorrected it. I started giving feedback all the time, 3 to 4 times a week. Anytime I saw something that needed improvement, I would just pin them on Slack or mention it in our one-on-one meetings. So here's what happened. When I gave positive feedback, it landed well. People smiled, it energized them. But when I gave improvement feedback too frequently, it had the opposite effect. It wasn't that the feedback was wrong. It was that the volume was too high. They felt overwhelmed. And here's what I learned. When we give people too much feedback, especially on small things, people just don't know what to prioritize. Feels like they're always being corrected. Don't get time to process, let alone even practice on the improvements. So the lesson here is feedback needs breathing room. You can't just pile it on. People need time to reflect, ask questions, and try again. My rule for myself is to provide one feedback per week, allow them to reflect and improve. And 90% of the time, you can see it happening. You get the right direction and they feel better and have a safe environment. Feedback isn't just a gut feel or a vague opinion like, "I think you could have done better." To be truly constructive, it needs to be intentional. As leaders, that means taking the time to think through what we want to say, so we're not pointing out flaws, but actually helping the person reflect and improve. Good feedback should guide them towards what great looks like. What doesn't work is saying things like, "Hey, you were too judgmental in that meeting," or "You're doing all this wrong," or worst of all, "I'm not sure you're cut up for this." That kind of feedback is vague, emotionally charged, and feels deeply personal. It shuts people down, and you have to remember, not everyone's working style is the same as yours. And our jobs as leaders isn't to shape people into mini versions of ourselves. It's to bring out the best in them through clarity, not criticism. So here are 2 practical tools I have been using to help me think through constructive feedback. The first is the SBI Model, developed by the Center of Creative Leadership, a well-known global nonprofit focused on leadership development. Now it stands for S, situation, when did it happen? B, behavior, what did you observe? And I, impact, why does it matter? So here's an example. In yesterday's stand-up, the situation, I noticed you didn't share your progress, the behavior, which left the team unclear on what's ready for handover, the impact. Can we align on how to update the team better this week? And this provided clear, non-judgmental, focused on improvement. You're not calling someone unreliable. You're pointing to a moment, describing the action and showing why it matters. Here's another method I tried earlier, was on the feedback sandwich, also known as praise, criticism, praise model. And some people will call it the sandwich. And it goes like this. Start with the compliment, a positive feedback, share the improvement feedback, and then end it with another positive note. Here's an example. You've been super proactive with client emails lately. One thing I did notice though is the tone in your handover notes. They are sometimes feels rushed and unclear. But overall, I really value how responsive, accountable you have been. Now, this method is designed to soften the blow of negative feedback and help people stay motivated. But for me, it didn't really work. Why? Well, because people started to expect the but. It began to feel like the praise was just a setup for criticism, like I wasn't being real. That doesn't mean the method is wrong. For some people and situations, especially early in my career development, it could be quite helpful. But here's the truth. No feedback method works if it doesn't feel authentic. So if you're using a feedback sandwich, make sure the praise is genuine and the improvement feedback is clear, not buried. And so this brings me to a really important point. Good feedback isn't about being nice or critical, it's about being helpful. And part of being helpful is getting the right balance. So give positive feedback often and make it really specific. Share improvement feedback thoughtfully when it matters and in a way that respects the person's readiness to receive it. For example, instead of saying, "Good job," say, "Your research in the last stakeholder update really clarified our options and that helped the leadership team to make a faster decision." Instead of saying, "That didn't work," say, "When the prototype was delivered without user testing, it slowed the team's confidence to move forward. Next time, can we agree on testing checkpoints before delivery?" And look, if you are nervous about giving feedback, you're not alone. Here are some of my common thoughts when I wanted to give feedback. What if I get it wrong? What if they take it personally? What if it hurts the relationship? But here's my response to myself. Feedback is not about being perfect. It's about being present. It's about saying things like, "I see you, I care about your growth, and I want to help you succeed." You don't need to be flawless. You just need to be clear, kind, and committed to your team's development. If you have found this video insightful, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And also share your feedbacks and technique that has worked for you in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.